Từ Việt Nam, chúng tôi đem đến cho các bạn góc nhìn sâu sắc về một trong những thị trường tài chính tiềm năng hấp dẫn nhất thế giới, mang đặc tính nhiều biến động của một thị trường đang phát triển. Thị trường tài chính Việt Nam có những cơ hội và rủi ro gì? Hãy cùng chúng tôi khám phá trong chương trình Việt Nam Street Insider. Thảo xin giới thiệu với quý vị anh Jesse Cohen, nhà phân tích tài chính cấp cao tại investing.com, chuyên về thị trường chứng khoán Hoa Kỳ. Anh Jesse cũng đã được trích dẫn và giới thiệu trên các phương tiện truyền thông tài chính nổi tiếng, chẳng hạn như là Reuters, Wall Street Journal, Business Insider và Newsweek. Các ấn phẩm khác cũng đã trích dẫn anh bao gồm là New York Times, USA Today, Guardian, Forbes và San Jose Mercury News và nhiều ấn phẩm khác. Hi Jesse. Are the US investor now more bullish or bearish about the US stock market in 2023 based on some popular consensus that you know?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you, like, it seems like as of the moment, the consensus expectations for the year ahead are kind of divided. You have those in the camp which believe that the Federal Reserve at some point in 2023 will start cutting rates, meaning the Fed pivot, which everyone is waiting for, will finally arrive. While in the other camp, you have those which believe that no rate cuts are coming. The Fed will continue with its hawkish stance, signaling that further rate hikes are coming, which of course will mean further turmoil, further volatility in financial markets, similar to what we've seen in 2022 so far. So again, if you look at the Fed funds futures rates, it seems that market is getting ahead of itself in pricing a pivot at some point in 2023. So I think the main risk for the year ahead will be, for the Fed and markets to kind of get on the same page, mostly due to the fact that many are kind of discounting the Fed's forecasts and their expectations for interest rates and inflation for the year ahead. So we'll see what that has to do with, of course, the impact on financial markets. As far as I'm concerned, I think we're heading into further uncertain territory. I don't think necessarily that the Fed will cut rates immediately after reaching the peak Fed funds rate. I think the Fed keeps them there for a while a pivot will likely come towards the end of 2023.
What are some common motivations of the market in 2023 that everyone is betting on?
I actually believe that the U.S. economy will hold up better than some expect. If you look at the data recently, we had a better than expected consumer confidence report yesterday, while the labor market shows no signs of slowing down. While inflation has come back down a bit, if you look at all the other economic indicators, it seems like the U.S. economy is showing resilience. The U.S. consumer remains strong. Even with the rate hikes, the housing market is holding up better than expected. So for the most part, according to what I see, I think the economy is holding up better than some fear. And even if we do see a recession or a slowdown in the economy, I think it will be rather mild, not as deep and intense as some are forecasting. So I think in terms of that, with the U.S. economy holding up better than expected, I think that will give the Fed more leeway to keep rates higher for a longer period of time.
What are the top risks that everyone is fear of?
Well, for the most part, the main story for the year ahead, if 2022 was all about inflation and the Fed's reaction to it, it seems that for 2023, it's going to be all about the Federal Reserve's rate hike expectations and whether we finally see that long-awaited pivot that many in the market are waiting and hoping for. So the main risk for the bulls and for financial markets in general is that the Fed hikes rates to a level above what the market is currently expecting and keeps them there for longer, potentially through the end of 2023. So if that is the case and we only start seeing a pivot in monetary policy in 2024, then obviously the year ahead will be rather difficult for markets with the uncertainty on the economic front and rate hikes. It seems like we're heading into 2023 with a very difficult and different backdrop than what we were accustomed to in the past.
What could be the industries that benefit the most from the macroeconomic environment next year?
Sure. Well, as we've seen in 2022, the most favored sectors, the one that did the best, were energy, defense, and healthcare. With a certain macroeconomic environment combined with the current geopolitical environment as well, I think names in the defense sector and energy sector continue to outperform in 2023, especially at the expense of some of the the high tech growth darlings of previous years. So I think those remain the preferred sectors amid the current environment. Some of the names which I like, of course, continue to be ExxonMobil, one of the biggest energy names in the world, and of course Occidental Petroleum, which has scored a gain of 115% so far this year. Of course, with Warren Buffett taking a stake, and the energy sector, at least in terms of the earnings outlook, continuing to hold up better than expected. Again, same with some of the names in the defense sector, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, especially as tensions between Ukraine and Russia and the West remain elevated. I think money continues to flow into those sectors. And healthcare, of course, names which, no matter what, no matter what the economic environment is, if we're in a recession, people, of course, will still spend on healthcare. So the names which I like over there are Eli Lilly, Merck, and Johnson & Johnson. And if you look at the downside, I think many names, the non-profitable, money-losing technology names, are probably in for more pain in the year ahead, especially with the Fed continuing to raise rates. So I think, again, you probably want to stay away from that sector until the very least, until Fed Chair Powell signals that a pivot is coming.
Quý vị có thể sử dụng bộ lọc cổ phiếu của Investing Pro để lọc theo chiến lược của các nhà đầu tư nổi tiếng. Đầu tiên, hãy thay đổi ngôn ngữ sử dụng thành tiếng Việt. Sau đó, ở trang chủ, hãy chọn sàng lọc để bắt đầu. Cách nhanh nhất để tạo một danh mục là sử dụng bộ lọc sẵn có của Investing Pro. Chọn thẻ chiến lược để lựa chọn bộ lọc cổ phiếu theo chiến lược của các nhà đầu tư nổi tiếng. Bạn cũng có thể tự tạo bộ lọc cổ phiếu với những tiêu chí của riêng bạn bằng cách nhấn vào nút sàng lọc mới ở góc phải màn hình. Sau đó, lựa chọn các tiêu chí mà bạn muốn rồi xem kết quả. Khi bạn đã hoàn thiện bộ lọc của mình, hãy nhấn nút lưu lại ở góc phải để giữ lại sử dụng trong tương lai. Đây là một hướng dẫn nhanh về cách sử dụng Investing Pro. Hãy thử trải nghiệm Investing Pro trong việc đầu tư của mình nhé!